Hello everyone, my name is Aanchal Agrawal from second year PGDM program and an ambassador of Sustainable Development Goal number 7. Welcomes you all to this YouTube channel where we will have a discussion on the topic Sustainable Development Goal 7, that is affordable and clean energy. Today amongst us we have Mr. Tarun Anand, the one who needs no introduction, but to formally introduce him, he is the chairman and the co-founder of Universal Business School. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invite to join us here and share your valuable insights on the topic Sustainable Development Goal number 7. So to begin with, I would request you to throw some light on Sustainable Development Goal number 7.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and I'm very proud of the work that the ambassadors are doing on the SDG goals. So to me, this is the most important sustainable development goal. And why is that? Because the whole essence of global warming, increase in temperatures is because of one sustainable development goal, which is energy. It's like the 80-20 principle, that one goal is responsible for the maximum amount of damage. So if we can really put all our energies towards this SDG, I think we would be solving a large amount of the problems. So given the importance of this goal, I think it's better we understand what is this goal all about. The first important thing is access to modern energy. So access is the focus, right? Can we get this new energy, renewable energy, to all the various people who are under the pyramid, as we call the CK Prahlad, bottom of the pyramid. The second most important thing is how are we diversifying our energy mix to get more renewables into the energy mix. That's number 2. The third aspect of it is research and development into this energy transition, and how much can organizations and the government spend to develop these new energy tools. The third is the multiplier effect of how can you have multiple sources of renewable energy. And the final important point is the aspect around how can you ensure that this energy is stored, and that will really amplify the entire use case of this energy sources. So that's the whole essence of SDG 7.
Definitely, your point is very accurate for the Sustainable Development Goal number 7. So my next question is, what are the initiatives UBS has taken for this SDG 7?
So we started it from our inception. We said, how can we reduce the consumption of energy? And therefore, from the design of the buildings, this entire concept was ingrained, given we were, very clear that we want to become India's first green business school. So first, reduction in energy use. So we started with the building design. So all the glass that you see on the facade of UBS, it's basically DJU glass, double jointed glass. So they're basically 2 glass panes with a vacuum inside, so that it reduces the heat transmission into the building, therefore reduces the air conditioning consumption and therefore the energy. Similarly, all the walls that you see, the entire facade of the entire campus, the wall you see is not actually the real wall. The wall is here. There's a 1 feet gap between what you see, which is the dry cladding, and the wall. So there are MS structures outside the wall, again creating what we call the thermos effect, less heat transmission, less into the building, and therefore less air conditioning and therefore less energy. So that's what we call the concept of smart buildings. Then we said, how do we further reduce? We said as much we can, whether it's the double heighted ceilings in the library or with the glass, less requirement for lights, because you have natural light as long as we as an institute are working till 6 p.m. So at least for 5:30, you don't actually need to have lights on. So those were some of the inceptional things. Then we said the next big target is energy efficiency. I believe that you can get at least 20% gain, and 20% is huge in terms of when you talk of actuals. 20% gain by just changing all your lights to LED lights, or you can get a 35% gain when you go into BLDC fans. So all our new fans, including the fan in the library, which I'll talk about in a minute, are based on BLDC technology, which gives you an idea that normally you require 74, 75 watts for a typical fan. The BLDC fans require 28 watts. So you're literally getting a 50% reduction in energy consumption on that. Then we installed this massive fan, which is I think 24 feet in the library. And library being a double-storied structure, air conditioning was required because at any points of the year. But now we realize with just installing this one fan, 24 feet fan, your air conditioning requirement, and it requires a huge amount of energy to cool that large structure for a large part of the year when it's very pleasant, especially during the rains and all the way through to March, which means you're talking of 75% of the academic delivery time. You don't need the air conditioning because this fan with its blades and the size of it and using BLDC technology can reduce your energy consumption. So reduce is the first thing. Energy efficiency is the second thing. The third area we said was we want to make sure that we want to get in solar energy, and during the pandemic we invested in a plant, a 300 watt plant, which takes care of 70% of our energy requirements is taken care through the solar plant. We have rooftop solar and we have carport solar. The carport solar had a double advantage that not only does it generate solar energy, but it also has shade for the cars. So it was a double advantage for us as an institute. And therefore the cost of energy, we pay around 11.5 rupees a unit to the Maharashtra government, the electricity board. We said by doing this, for 70% we are paying 4.5 or even lesser rupees. So it's a savings, it's reducing our carbon footprint by maximum. And as I said, energy is 80% and our largest cost in this institute is electricity. So if you can target the big bang, you have a huge impact. Then we said we will invest in electrical vehicles, because rather than showing the campus to students and guests around the campus using the traditional fuel and cars, can we get an EV vehicle? So we've now invested in that. And we're going to continue to invest in more electrical vehicles to reduce our carbon footprint. We then said that, okay, this is organizational practices. Can we ensure that we can, in the academic learning, bring in these practices? So we started a SMART project. SMART is an acronym for essentially management, aptitude and potential to social causes. So social management and aptitude, potential and responsibility, which students will go into the villages and essentially talk about the impact of the environment onto these villagers and inform them. There's an awareness program. There are plays, Nukkad plays, where we take this and make it into reality so that they can appreciate. And this is on all aspects: social aspects, health aspects, environment aspects, agricultural practices, and livelihood. But the gamut of that makes sure that students, every student has a credit point associated where he or she goes into the villages for a period of a week and therefore really connects with and makes an impact. So that was getting academics into it. Then we said let's focus on the research aspect, and in the research aspect many of our faculty have written some amazing literature and furthering the research on solar energy, solar power and other renewable sources. So that was our research contribution. Then we said let's now look at co-curricular activities. So we have clubs on campus and one of our clubs, Inactus, essentially developed with a solar light essentially, along with a collaboration with Karlsruhe Institute of Technology in Germany, and that was another area where we demonstrated this entire aspect. We have an environment club which is continuously coming out with newsletters on various aspects of the ESG and of course sustainable development goals. We also have then we said, can we now go on the global stage and showcase our capabilities on SDG7. So we created, the faculty created led by the research head, Dr. Asha, created a micro simulation on the Capson global platform on e-batteries and the usage of e-batteries and how that, and we were very delighted that we won a top 5 B school in the world for our Capson's micro simulation created by our research team. So I think these are some of the areas where we've really taken it into our DNA as an institute to make an impact on our carbon footprint and therein to our reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and therefore contributing in our own small way to the target set in the COP27 in Egypt.
This is really impressive to know so many things about UBS doing for Sustainable Development Goal 7, and viewers should also know these things about UBS to implement such things in their way, in their life, to contribute towards society. So my last question would be, can you please advise some of the things to our viewers about this topic?
So I'll just end with we have a very comprehensive SDG dashboard which actually tracks all our attempts, including such initiatives like yourself, on a dashboard which is in partnership with Hop School of Business in the United States in Minnesota, and we track every activity that we do. So it's very transparent. These are around organizational practices, partnerships and dialogues, academic teaching, research, and the overall impact that we create is all documented on our SDG dashboard. So I would request all institutions, students to really look at that to see the kind of effort that we're doing across all SDGs. We are also became the first school in 2022 in India to publish our ESG report, and the second edition of that is going to be coming out very shortly in a few weeks from now. So it demonstrates all the aspects of every SDG and of course the broader principles of ESG that we follow in our institute. So I would request all students to get hold of that, because tomorrow's world, when you go out into industry, trust me, every institution is the biggest problem that the institutions are looking at, governments are looking at, is climate change. And your company will be having to meet compliance targets, and before compliances and regulations kick in, you should be fully prepared. So you need to become the change drivers when you go into the industry to be able to demonstrate that we know so many ideas that we can use and take those learnings to your industry, and I'm going to be sure you're going to be most valuable as a new employee entering in with the host of ideas and become change agents, which will make you responsible leaders of the future.
Definitely. Thank you, sir, for sharing so much valuable insights and all the works you and UBS has done for this sustainable development goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.